Pink balloons for a 5-year-old girl shot and killed. We're live where dozens of family and friends are mourning the loss of Chloe.
Plus, daycares for hundreds of thousands of children could soon close in North Carolina as federal aid ends. Where your family can look for help.
Tonight, we're watching storms popping up and intensifying. Who's at risk? Then the hours this weekend that could turn severe.
Then, from loosening alcohol rules to space whiskey, we go in depth on the big booze changes that could happen in North Carolina.
Right now at 7, we are taking a live look at the radar. As you can see, a lot of storms are popping up, including severe thunderstorm warnings for Johnston and Wayne counties until 7:15. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ashley Rowe.
And I'm Dan Haggerty. Let's take a live look. Goldsboro, one of those issues is in place there. The skies are dark. We've seen the trees kind of blowing around in the wind there. Meteorologist Kat Campbell in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with who could see what and when tonight.
We still have a few hours to go of these strong storms firing up across the area. Wake County seeing a lot of the storms, Johnston and Wayne counties. Let's start with the 2 severe thunderstorm warnings highlighted in these yellow boxes. And the stronger of the 2 storms, definitely the storm in Johnston County, southern Johnston County, Benson. The radar estimating some wind speeds around 50 miles per hour there. Any of these storms could also have some hail in them. A stronger storm pushing through Goldsboro, Wayne County as well. And we're keeping a close eye on this storm in southeastern Wake County near Fuquay-Varina and on the south side of Garner. That storm is intensifying. A lot of lightning in that storm, heavy wind and some strong wind gusts. Not severe just yet. Some rain and 1 bolt of lightning around downtown Raleigh. Elsewhere, we've seen the storm that passed through Franklin County earlier move toward Rocky Mount, Wilson. It's weakened into mainly rain at this point, but it did produce some damage in Franklin County earlier, even knocking a home off its foundation. So these storms have been strong today. The storm chances this evening go down throughout the hours. By 8-9 o'clock, we're down to about a 40% chance, 30% by 11 o'clock tonight. The weekend features more storm chances, especially on Sunday, and that's when we have an even greater threat for severe weather. I'll highlight that risk and the timing coming up.
Got it. Thanks, Kat.
Here we go. Here in the WRAL Live Center, we're also watching the severe weather out there as we take a live look from our WRAL Tower Cam, southeast Wake County, where Kat was just talking about. You can see those dark clouds up there. There are some peaks of sun, but we are watching all of that. We're also starting to see some reports of damage coming in. I want to take you to some viewer photos sent in to us from Franklin County. You can see some trees down there. We're told that trees actually took down a power line on Fred Parrish Road. That's also nearby where a home was knocked off its foundation, as Kat mentioned there. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker also just got to the scene of a house fire. This is in Raleigh on Bolingbrook Lane in northwest Raleigh. We are told by the fire officials there that a lightning strike caused a house fire there, causing significant damage. A family of 4 has been displaced from that house. They are doing okay, but the Red Cross is there to help them out. That is not too far away from where we're starting to see some power outages. This is the live look from Duke Energy. We have about 1,000 outages across Wake County. Most of them in northwest Raleigh, right there. That's near where that house fire was. And some new ones just popped up down here in Johnston County near Benson. 504 outages just off I-40 there. They're saying that this was first reported around 6:50. It'll take till right around 11:45 near midnight to fix that outage.
It's going to be a long night, Matt. Thank you. And while you are out tonight, heading out for the weekend plans even, make sure to download the WRAL weather app. You can get alerts right to your phone if rain or storms move into your area.
This has been the scene for over an hour now in Durham. You can see people are holding balloons. They're gathering to remember the life of 5-year-old Chloe Fennell.
A just beautiful child. You see these pictures, it breaks your heart thinking what that family and community is going through. She lost her life 2 days ago to gun violence. WRL's Aaron Thomas joins us live after attending the balloon release and talking to some of the family members. I can only imagine how devastated they all are. Aaron.
Yeah, Dan, Ashley, it has certainly been a heavy past 3 days, not only for the family members of Chloe Fennell, but also for friends and the surrounding Durham community that yet again is experiencing gun violence that has hit some of the area youth. I want to take you behind me. This is the home where that tragedy occurred just days ago, and you can see dozens remain tonight pulling together in a time when they definitely need it. If you take a look at this video, we were here as a a lot of balloons. Those pink balloons filled the air, and as they filled the air, people did say, "We love you, Chloe." We heard brief remarks from a bishop who stated how grief is something that you don't get over, but you manage it. He also expressed how the community is tired of coming together for these tragic losses. They want to come together for these milestones that these children should be reaching, like graduations. The call is now stronger than ever to crack down on gun violence.
I really think as a community, we've got to decide what besides a gun can bring peace, what besides a gun can bring a unity. And I know that's a hard statement to say, but gun violence is something that you're only going to get rid of when guns get moved away from it.
Now, we also got another update from a family friend, the 15-year-old who was actually trying to shield Chloe's body from gunshots. She tells me that Chloe did undergo surgery both yesterday and today and is now in stable condition, certainly hoping that she will pull through. This is something we're going to be following on our late news beginning at 10 on Fox 50. I actually had the chance to speak with another family that experienced gun violence. They know what it's like to lose a loved one, particularly a young person, and what they like to see to really stop this disturbing trend. Back to you.
Okay, Aaron Thomas, keep us updated live in Durham. Thanks, Aaron.
Parents know all too well how hard it is to find affordable childcare. Now it could soon get harder. In September, more than 4,000 childcare programs in North Carolina will stop receiving federal funding. The money is coming from the American Rescue Plan. And as WRAL's Shelley Jackson explains, the impact will be felt far beyond the childcare industry.
Federal child care subsidies kept child care centers like a safe place open through the pandemic. But come September, that could change.
Rom Stevens and his wife Hershey Millette Stevens enrolled their 3-year-old son, Jeremiah, at a safe place when he was just 8 months old.
This child care center is a family. I feel like I dropped my son off and I don't worry about him anymore.
The center is one of thousands in North Carolina that could be forced to close their doors when federal funding runs out at the end of September. Kimberly Shaw opened a safe place more than 20 years ago. She owns 2 centers and has 22 employees. Childcare is a tough industry, but she says COVID almost broke them.
Would you have been able to stay open without the grants?
We would not have.
Shaw took advantage of grants offered through the American Rescue Plan Stabilization Program. She was able to give her employees a 20% raise, increase their benefits package, and increase their paid time off.
Honestly, a big help.
According to the Century Foundation, nationwide 3.2 million kids will lose access to childcare when federal funding ends. Here in North Carolina, more than 155,000 kids will be impacted. And more than 1,700 child care centers are expected to close. Shaw says she's doing everything to make up the shortfall, even increasing tuition.
We're being frugal. We are examining ways to tighten it all the time.
The Century Foundation predicts the looming child care crisis could cost states more than $10 billion in revenue.
I'd stop working as much. I do contract work, so they would just be a matter of leaving the labor market to help make it happen, because she's the breadwinner in the health insurance. So
business groups are pushing North Carolina legislators to make up the loss with state funding. It's also possible that Congress could pass new child care subsidies. And Shaw isn't giving up yet.
I'm in it to win it. We're doing everything we can to survive, but it shouldn't be this hard.
Shelley Jackson, WRAL News, Raleigh.
I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell. I have a new severe thunderstorm warning to tell you about. This is the same storm we talked about at the top of the newscast over Fuquay-Varina and in South Garner. A severe thunderstorm warning now issued until 7:45, and this is due to the potential for damaging wind gusts and some nickel-size hail. And I believe we just had a new warning issued in Wayne County as well. And this is a continuation of the previous warning. The new warning in effect until 8 o'clock. The previous warning here was in effect until 7:15. And this now includes the southern half of the county. So heads up, we are still tracking intense thunderstorms. I'll have a full radar update coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, we'll check back in, Kat. Thank you. We want you to know about a Food Lion in Zebulon recalling select in-store prepared ground beef. The recall is due to the presence of foreign material and includes all beef prepared on July 6th with a sell-by date of July 9th. At this time, no illnesses or injuries have been reported. Food Lion does say you can return the meat to the store for a refund that is worth double what you paid.
Is whiskey from space really worth as much as it goes for? And can you really taste a difference?
They're big questions tonight. We're going to try and break those down a little bit in tonight's In Depth, all about North Carolina's space whiskey.
Also after the break, a closer look into the investigation after a crack appeared on a support beam of a Carowinds roller coaster. What needs to be done before that ride can reopen? We are getting more insight about the break in the Fury 325 roller coaster at Carowinds. The commissioner of the state's Department of Labor, Josh Dobson, told WRAL his team is regularly in touch with Carowinds. Dobson did not say how soon Carowinds closed the ride after the break was discovered, but he says he feels comfortable with the park's existing safeguards. A new support column is expected to replace the fractured one next week. It's unclear when exactly the ride will be recertified for operation again.
So I want to go in depth on the booze beat tonight and some new legislation to loosen the rules around alcohol here in North Carolina. Things like liquor sales on Sunday, happy hour ABC gift cards, that sort of thing. Here's the web story from WRAL.com, and I want you to read the headline with me. North Carolina lawmakers try again on Sunday liquor sales. Also, consider tax break for Durham space whiskey. That's right, space whiskey. We've come a long way. From moonshine and basement bars to bourbon in the stars. Let's take one small, slightly staggery step for man and go in depth on North Carolina's space booze. This here is the bottle of space whiskey from Mystic Farm and Distillery in Durham called Galactic. It will sell for $75,000 per bottle plus tax. And North Carolina charges a 7% sales tax on liquor, which would add up another $5,250 to that price tag. Then there's the state's 30% excise tax, paid by the distiller, usually gets passed on to the consumer. But the bill's sponsor, Senator Tim Moffitt, said that those taxes would simply make the product too expensive. So instead, in this proposed legislation, the space whiskey would be taxed at a flat rate, and that makes sense. I mean, if we're not looking out for the people who can drop 75 large on a bottle of whiskey, who will? This space whiskey thing might sound a little bit gimmicky, but Mystic is actually pretty legit. They're kind of an up-and-comer in the bourbon game. They've only been around since 2013, but they're already winning national awards, beating some of the biggest names in the game, and that's just with their Earth whiskey. For the space stuff, they're teaming up with SpaceX. They're working with engineers at NC State and a lot of other people to launch a few barrels up into low orbit around the planet. First, those barrels will be aged for 3 years here on Earth, and then they'll spend 1 year in space. They plan to launch in 2025. So, what will a year in space do to the taste of a bourbon? Well, no one really knows. Maybe nothing. Maybe tons of stuff. There's never been a bourbon aged in zero gravity, so we'll see what happens. Though, according to science, either way, you'd probably never know the difference even if you could afford it. A study published in Science Daily found drinkers couldn't tell the difference between bourbon and rye in a blind test. And in 2011, a university outside of London found that expensive and inexpensive wines taste the same after about 600 random people took a blind taste test. I found a bunch of studies just like those. But perhaps you're saying, Dan, how dare you? My palate is refined. I can tell the difference between a red and orange Fruit Loop. In that case, you may be a super taster. Discovered in the 90s by a doctor at Yale, roughly 1 in 4 people have extra taste buds. She estimates that roughly 35% of women and 15% of men can experience flavor in a more pleasurable, vivid way. And according to Scientific America, the rest of us are made up of average tasters, with about 25 to 30% of us considered non-tasters. These people are easy to spot when they cook for you. All this to say, who really cares? I mean, maybe space will make it better. Maybe space won't make it better. Maybe you wouldn't be able to tell either way. In the end, you're not really paying for taste, I don't think. You're not even buying whiskey. You're buying a story. And we love a good story, and we will pay for a great one. Do you remember this story? A 4-year-old named Marla. She was in the news a ton about 15 years ago, selling her abstract art for upwards of $20,000. Then, 60 Minutes did a story that revealed her father was helping her sometimes to pick out colors and encouraging her to continue a piece of art. And that intervention there changed the general value of her work. Same painting, same finished product, different story. And the more I researched this story, I'm starting to think maybe $75K for some space whiskey might be a deal. After all, this bottle of Bordeaux was just auctioned off after spending 14 months in orbit as part of a food and agriculture study. We don't know exactly what it went for at auction, but it was expected to sell for at least $1 million. Let's hope there was no sales tax. That would be ridiculous. Let me know what you think. I've learned a lot about space manufacturing while researching this story. The legislation here in North Carolina is still in the early stages. Mystic actually told me that if it doesn't go through and they can't get these tax breaks, they might not be able to do this project from North Carolina, go somewhere else. But if it works, they want to send a batch around the moon in 2030. Email me, dan@WRAL.com. Tell me what's on your mind, and we will go in depth. But moon whiskey.
Moon whiskey.
And then maybe Mars whiskey.
Ooh.
Jupiter whiskey. Saturn whiskey. Uranus whiskey might be hard to market. You know, this is whiskey from Uranus. Doesn't
have the same ring to it.
It's going to be tough to do.
I have so many questions. First of all, how many people do they think are going to buy this?
Well, they have to pre-sale. Well, they want to pre-sale 1,000.
Okay.
So 1,000 bottles. That's the plan.
If they can sell 1,000 bottles, it makes it worth their while.
It does. They're going to send it up there.
Wow. Okay, I want to try it.
Everybody
I'll
wants
never
to
afford to try
Yeah,
it.
start saving.
Oh, Kat, I know you love talking about space.
How do I top that? I just think you're going to end up on Jimmy Fallon, Dan. We'll wait and see on that one.
Oh, if I'm lucky. Yeah.
There you go. Well, outside today, we are dealing with some bad weather. We have storms rolling through Goldsboro right now. There was a report from a train spotter, 1.25 inches of rain in about 30 minutes around Goldsboro. So they've seen a big soaking with this severe storm that's passing through. This severe thunderstorm warning in Wayne County in effect until 8 o'clock. You can see the intense thunderstorm, bright shades of red moving in. Things have quieted down just a little bit in Johnston County. No more warning there. But Fuquay Arena remains under a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:45, 25 minutes from now. Elsewhere on the radar, you know, this is really the zone of the intense thunderstorms. Elsewhere, there are a few storms here and there, but not the same intensity on the Dual Doppler 5000 radar. We are going to be watching for more storms this weekend. We've got a front that will eventually move in as we get closer to Sunday, and that brings a better threat for severe weather on Sunday. A level 2 out of 5 threat for severe weather. Damaging wind gusts and hail would be the main concerns, and because of this level 2 threat, it is a WRAL weather alert day. And one of the reasons why we're under this greater threat for severe storms on Sunday is with the front, we're likely to see more storms. It's about a 60% chance. But we have an ingredient in place on Sunday called wind shear, and it allows thunderstorms to not only strengthen, but really organize as well. So because of that, we may see some more organized thunderstorm activity. For tomorrow, we're likely to see storms fire up during the afternoon, similar to what we've seen the past several days. There's a chance one of those could be severe, like what we saw today and yesterday. We do have the potential that a few of those showers and storms could even linger into tomorrow night. This run of futurecast not showing it, but with the front getting closer, I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Sunday, a quiet start to the day, but a more active afternoon and evening with these thunderstorms firing up, and those could be severe, as I mentioned, pretty much anywhere in the state, though, with this front swinging through the area. So check in for updates over the weekend from meteorologist Peter Sherwood and Anthony Baglione. High temperatures this weekend near 90. At least we're not at 96 like we were today. Humidity high this weekend. As we get into Monday, storm chances start to fall. Just 30% on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and even Friday of next week look drier. Only about a 20% chance of a storm each day. But with less rain on the radar, temperatures are going up. High temperatures climb into the mid-90s. And it stays humid, but maybe not as humid as it's been this week. Ashley and Dan?
Yeah, it was hot today. Felt really warm today.
Oh, so muggy. Yes,
I know.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kat. Some local superstars are ready to take the world by storm.
After the break, when you can catch Fort Bragg's very own Fort Liberty's now, right? Very own 82nd Airborne Division Band and Choir on America's Got Talent.
Dan, I know you have been waiting with
story.
bated breath to find out their little names. 3 baby sand kittens at the North Carolina Zoo.
I love these guys.
Are now named.
Amira. Sorry, I'm messing up my girl's name there. Amira, meaning princess. Cleo, short for Cleopatra. And Jabari, meaning brave and fearless. They all look brave and fearless. The zoo says they received over 15,000 votes in their poll, adding that you can see all 3 of the rambunctious kittens in their desert exhibit. And they are so cute. I love those guys. A very special group from our area will be making an appearance on America's Got Talent next Tuesday night.
Airborne, airborne, all the way, all the way. I got sunshine.
I just got chills. They're so good. Members from the 82nd Airborne Division Band and Choir from Fort Liberty. Oh, they did such a good job. This video was posted today by AGT showing the group auditioning with a cover of, you know this song, My Girl. As you can see, crowd, judges, all loving them. Be sure to tune in right here on WRAL next Tuesday at 8 o'clock to see if they get the judges' approval and a chance to move past the auditions round.
They got Simon smiling. That's a good sign.
They're so good. I keep getting chills listening to them. They're awesome. Hey, a NASCAR legend officially rang the bell at Duke Cancer Center following his last round of chemo yesterday. Take a look.
That is Danny Chocolate Myers, most famously known for working as a fueler for the one and only Dale Earnhardt. He currently lives in Lexington, North Carolina, has been battling lymphoma since February, but as you can see, he's in remission. This was his celebratory walk in bell ring. What a great showing. Congratulations to him. Thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Have a great weekend.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.